Alright, legends, today we're going to be reacting to Johnny Somali. He's an in real life streamer and not very nice, and apparently he's about to get what he deserves.
After Johnny Somali and his two buddies were taken down by one Korean dude, a literal line of other Koreans formed, asking to fight him next.
Check your Instagram DM. Let's fight me. I will kill you.
If you're in a 20-mile radius to where I live, be prepared to see me.
So for those of you who don't know who Johnny Somali is, he's an in real life streamer, and he's gained a lot of infamy, especially lately, because he's been jumping around to countries like Japan and Korea, where there is that kind of like false belief that the people there are docile and not willing to stick up for themselves. But anyway, Johnny's been causing a nuisance. He's been wandering around, for example, with like a rotten fish to be a nuisance to local people, and then try to claim that it's his barbecue and talk his way out of trouble. He's also been throwing food at places like 7-Eleven stuff. Completely disrespectful of the host nations that he's going to. Traveling is a privilege. You should respect the locals. And yeah, and apparently he's getting in big trouble for it now. As you can see, the local guys are not taking it and they're threatening him.
Until a Korean Navy SEAL went out and actually found him in his hotel.
Wow.
Hey.
He's got such a punchable face, to be honest.
소말리. 어디가?
어디가? What you mean? 어디가? What is 어디가? Oh. Yo.
Wow.
And now YouTuber Rotten Mango decided to cover the incident. But to explain the significance of this is on YouTube, she has nearly 4 million subscribers.
Yeah, you don't get 4 million subscribers if you're shit at what you do, unless you're really, really, really lucky. But look at that, he took a pounding. I want to know who was filming.
1.8 million views on this video in the first week. And even though I've seen similar numbers recently, Rotten Mango, or Stephanie Sue, is in the top 100 on Apple Podcasts. And even ranked number 17 on Spotify with the second most watched true crime podcast. So even though me, Asmon Gold, and Abba and Preach have received millions of views covering Johnny's descent into internet obscurity, we all kind of sit under the same umbrella online, sharing much of the same audience and repeated viewer. But Stephanie Sue in the Rotten Mango podcast introduces Johnny's crimes against Korea to millions of other more offline people, which is...
And for the record, I have nothing against people hustling and going out there, as long as it's ethical or at least not causing harm to others. You know, we got a creator here, Decoy Voice. He seems to be very good at what he does. He seems to be doing some dirt sheet content. At least he's not out there in public hurting people, harassing people, disrespecting the culture. What Johnny Somali is doing is a new kind of low. There's no way in a million years I can justify him harassing, bullying, so he deserves to get what he's got, in my opinion.
Is only
nothing
going to
against
apply
anyone
further
hustling,
pressure
though,
to the Korean government to do something very uncharacteristic and absolutely throw the book at an American, as something like 16 years in prison is on the
that's a long
table.
time.
And although it seems silly that a podcast documentary can actually impact the outcome of a court case, just remember how R. Kelly's crimes were basically an open secret for several decades until Lifetime made a documentary about him, reminding the public to demand justice. As
people in society as a whole are relatively patient until it gets to that point that they can no longer be patient. You know, you keep pouring things into a glass, eventually it's going to overflow and cause a big freaking mess. And this is what we have here.
As this even has NBC News reporting on Johnny Somali, or Ramzi Khalid Ismail, with Dexerto stating he's facing up to 7 years in jail for sharing AI-generated content, putting his previous actions under a microscope, which now may actually lead to terror charges.
Well, this is a new thing that we're dealing with now. I mean, AI is a new technology, right? And so far, it's already been kind of pushing its luck. Well, some people have been pushing its luck with AI. For example, when you see these fake AI videos copying Joe Rogan's voice and stuff, I don't know where the identity theft line is yet. I don't know if it's been determined, or if it has, I don't know what it is. But then putting yourself in an AI video in like a sexual act with another human being, I definitely think that is crossing the line. This is uncharted territory, a really freaking weird time. I am glad that he got in trouble for that, so to speak, because I find it very creepy. But At the same time, the laws do need to be defined. I don't know what they are yet, to be honest.
I hope those $3 super chats were worth it, as he's been basically begging for international notoriety. And now he's put both himself and South Korea's justice system in the spotlight. So if they want to avoid advertising themselves as spineless jellyfish to the international community, further inviting more unemployed behaviors to plague their streets, they're gonna need to lock up Johnny for a very long time, as those videos might actually be his final goodbye to the internet. Now, the beginning of the end for him began when he was literally being hunted during his live streams. So he switched to live streaming inside what appeared to be an empty room until internet sleuths caught a brief glimpse of a blurry pizza box that locals were quickly able to identify. And as he tried to antagonize the Koreans even further, they caught a reflection of the room off his cell phone.
And good for you guys. All this attention to detail. I wouldn't be able to make out too much about a location just from a simple photo or two that's like blurred and grained out. But look at this. They can tell where he is just by looking at a simple sign. That is amazing. Well done.
Identifying a particular exit sign and an internet cafe monitor as the chat filled with messages stating they knew where he was staying. As shortly after that, that Korean Navy SEAL found him in the street. But luckily for Johnny, the local authorities were nearby to rescue him.
My hat. 자, 이쪽으로 오세요. 거기 hat.
Arresting the Korean UDT SEAL that showed absolutely no remorse.
Hopefully they'll just slap him on the wrist.
And to my understanding, that guy had his bail, luxury hotel, and upcoming legal fees crowdfunded, as he's basically seen as both a local and international hero.
How about that? So he had his bail paid for and a luxury hotel paid for by the community because they were so grateful what they did to this little punk. That's incredible. Hey man, that's the community coming together right there.
So being afraid to live stream anything but audio, he's resorted to essentially hosting conference calls on X, as these could barely gain a couple hundred listeners, which is a huge drop off from his thousands of video views and the millions of people who would tune in to see him find out, which again was another one of my predictions, that he would slowly slip into internet obscurity as he provides nothing of value other than internet fame and fortune.
Yeah, so I want to talk about this. There is a lot of pressure on young people today to keep up with the popularity contest on social medias. It almost seems like, and I've mentioned in videos before, that social clout is almost more valuable than cash itself. Everyone's doing anything they can these days, not understanding that internet is not real life. And so you've got a lot of people that feel like they need to do things the quickest way possible to get to that point because the internet lies to them and tells them that people are more successful than what they actually are, if that makes sense. So a guy like Johnny is doing all this stuff to harass locals and disrespect cultures and stuff, and all of a sudden he might go to jail for over a decade. Or for what, like 100, 200 live viewers? That's absolutely crazy. Now, I know the net less glamorous approach is to build a foundation with a more positive form of content. It's a longer slog, it's not glamorous. People are probably not going to support you, but it's going to gain you more opportunity and satisfaction in the long run if you do make it and you do manage to build something off a foundation, something that people can actually be thankful for.
For whoever can find him in the streets, or for insanely famous podcasters to make thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars off of. As I imagine she'll get at least 3 million views, showing a new side of the internet exactly why he's despised by everybody else.
And he starts stripping off his shirt. He's trying to dance all up on this female figure, rubbing baby oil onto her, and the Koreans are screaming at him in Korean.
And
I think that statue as well is supposed to respect the ladies' abuse that they got during the wartime, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me if I've got that information wrong, but it's a commemorative statue and one that's based on something that's really sensitive to the public. Not a good move. I wonder if he knew that beforehand. I'm going to guess that he did.
to make it worse, that statue is supposed to be of a kid, which may make his dance a much more serious crime. So at least to Johnny Somali, worst case is he streams that garbage to a couple thousand people on the shadiest streaming site online and nobody notices. And best case, I guess, is he's featured on the #2 crime podcast in the world. Then the mainstream news media picks it up, and now you're going viral for making a video doing very suggestive things to a statue of a kid that was specifically made to commemorate how foreigners committed crimes against kids. So he thought he was being funny to idiots online when he was really reopening one of the most sensitive issues in South Korean history and now making it about him.
Yeah, that's pretty narcissistic right there, isn't it? I think this guy's a total sociopath. I mean, he actually admitted it on one of his streams. I forgot that I saw that. He basically admitted that he is, and all he's trying to do is get views and money. Again, the fact that he's showing no remorse means he deserves everything that he gets. Like, he's not ignorant to any of this or naive. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's openly said, paraphrasing, he doesn't care who he hurts as long as he gets the fame and the clout. What do you do with someone like that? I don't think there's any way to rehabilitate someone like that, at least not outside of a very long period. So they're probably going to have to give him a 10, 20-year jail sentence. And this is something that Koreans usually don't do, especially to foreigners. So it'll be interesting.
And speaking of sensitive political issues, after he was streaming alongside some girl, recording himself vandalizing another guy's home, Johnny later displayed to his live stream AI-generated videos of him hooking up with a female streamer, which violates a brand new bill specifically made to charge people with those videos up to 7 years in jail. So some Korean politician is about to boost their entire career off this incident, as there was never a worse time to be this ignorant to local laws. And I don't think Johnny's intentionally speedrunning going to prison, but if he was, I don't think he would do anything different.
Well, the thing is, when you get that level of fame, popularity, notoriety, and you're getting all the money, the clout and everything, you feel like you're on top of the world. And having that kind of level of power makes you naively think that you're bulletproof. And he's seeing very quickly that that's not the case, because not only is he going to go to jail, he might not even make it if the whole country tries to...
Previously reported he was facing 10 years in jail, which started from his first charge of causing a commotion in a convenience store that in comparison was one of his more milder offenses that he recorded himself committing.
This is terrible though, like how can you... You wouldn't act like this in your home, man. Well, maybe he
but
does,
just like
who knows?
in Japan, he'd been bothering their citizens for a while, until the authorities arrested him over something simple as trespassing into a construction site. Now, the Japanese made the mistake of letting him off easy, believing his lies and just deporting him. And the citizens are already seeing the effects of allowing foreigners to completely disregard your culture, which is why I think Korea has to absolutely throw the book at him. As not only did the entire world see some idiot twerk and pour baby oil over a statue of a little girl, but also violate a brand new law specifically made in response to public outrage over deepfakes. This case is becoming so high profile that if they don't imprison him for at least half a decade, they're basically broadcasting not only to Koreans, but the entire world that their laws actually don't mean anything.
I do think they need to make an example out of him. Like, I believe in second chances and stuff, and if it's a first offense, I mean, I even believe in being lenient on that. But I mean, the guy has proven that he has no remorse. He's doing it on purpose, and he's doing it because he can.
And other streamers know this, as Legal Mindset is begging people to come forward.
For example, the people that he sexually harassed, you need to go file a complaint. Right now, the system looks at how many charges are there. If this guy gets 10, 20 charges against him, he's screwed.
As the convenience store wasn't the only place he bothered workers. He also bothered other streamers. He bothered random buskers. He and his stupid Korean friend bothered random girls in the streets.
Hey, girl, you want me on stream? My friend stream.
Even following them into stores.
Why did she ran back in the store?
Yeah, see, that's harassment, stalking.
I'm about to crash
You can't
out.
do that. She said no,
And
get
shouting
away,
at
and you
old
followed
ladies
her.
just begging for change.
Get lost. Get the on. Come on.
As much as I think Johnny and Johnny Jr. are losers, I think that Korean dude that follows them around for secondhand clout is the most pathetic person I've seen on the internet. So I feel no sympathy for him,
Yeah, he
as he may have legal
do.
issues of his own, and he's pretty much earned it. Hanging out with a guy that literally despises his entire existence.
I like to make content that makes people violent. I hate Asians. I think all Asians need to be exterminated. Somebody please put this on the news tomorrow.
Which this too turns out to be a crime in Korea, punishable by up to 7 years in jail. On top of the time he went into their subway system, broadcasting that he has a device.
If all those people come forward that he's affected in a criminal way, I mean, those charges are going to pile up one after another. So even just based on those littler crimes, he could end up going away for a very long time.
나에겐 폭탄이 있다. 나에겐 폭탄이 있다.
Which again violates local
Wow.
laws that could get him an additional 2 years in prison. So Dexerto said 10 years in prison. My math here adds up to 16, with some people even saying 29 years. But I guess the sentence length is irrelevant when Korea had an over 99% conviction rate. Now I understand long prison
Japan does
sentences
too.
isn't as common in Korea, but the justice system is more of a deterrence for future offenders than rehabilitating previous offenders. So this particular scenario has zero drawbacks when you can imprison someone for several years, then immediately deport him back to his home country. And although incarceration is incredibly expensive, it just might be worth the worldwide headlines of "Do not f with Korea. We got military-age men that'll beat you up everywhere. We got high-speed internet to live stream your beating from every angle. Then we let you rot in a box over laws you never knew existed."
Well, hey, not only are they doing the Korean people a favor, but they're doing the whole world a favor. So, I mean, if you get rid of him, we tip your hat to you.
And that message is priceless. So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on exactly why you need to protect your country's culture before it's too late.
Alright guys, check out Decoy Voice. Really good video actually. I don't normally do these type of pieces, but I've been following the Johnny Somali story for a long time, and I just thought I'd have my 2 cents on it too. Thank you for coming in guys, appreciate ya. See you on the next video.